Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of LEGO Jurassic World. So, we're just about finished with The Lost World. We've got this level, and of course the level that I keep forgetting is actually in the movie, which is the scene in is it San Diego? I think? San Diego? I'm posting this video a day after recording the last one, or not posting it, but recording it, so I kind of forgot where it was. I think San Diego's where they wanted it.
And I make learning fun.
But yeah, I keep on forgetting that's actually a scene in the, in it. It's just kind of funny.
Nick!
Where'd Nick go?
Nick!
Actually, this cutscene wasn't even in the 3DS version. Yeah, this cutscene wasn't even in the 3DS version. It's kind of strange. It just kind of like starts up like this. But yeah, so yeah, we're close to ending Lost World, and then we move on to the worst Jurassic Park movie. Well, the worst out of these four. There you go. The worst Jurassic Park movie is probably Dominion. I know it's like the funny thing to hate on at the moment. Is like, well, maybe not at the moment of this video being uploaded, but at the moment of right now, the funny thing to hate on is Jurassic Park Dominion. But it really is bad. It's one of those things. I have a funny story about that. I talked about it I commented it in a Nostalgia Critic video, but me and my family was watching that together at home. It was like, you know, after the movie came out in theaters. You know, while Jurassic Park was in theaters, we were watching. I was watching Top Gun in theaters, the better movie. So I didn't get to watch Jurassic World in theaters, which was a good thing, thank God. But no, so we were watching it together, and we were like completely silent the entire time. And I kind of kept on looking around, and I think it was a situation of each of us thought the other one enjoyed the movie. So we kept on watching it just because, like, well, you know, they enjoy it, so we'll keep watching it. And then at some point, like 45 minutes in, I just got really bored, and I'm like, this movie sucks. And then everybody else was like, yeah, it does. Okay, let's stop watching it. It's like, yeah. Oh, that movie was so tough. See, I only really watched 45 minutes of it, but I mean, 45 minutes in, if it's still extremely boring and just not a good movie at all, I mean, it's not going to get better at the, you know, at the hour, 2 hour mark. You know, I really don't think anything's going to change that much. And then Fallen Kingdom, I have sadly seen the entirety of Fallen Kingdom. Kind of wish I didn't. And that one is really terrible. So yeah, Jurassic Park 3 is the worst movie in this game, but it's not the worst movie in Jurassic Park history. That title belongs to Dominion. You know, speaking of movie sequels, there's a good amount of stuff coming out this year in terms of movie sequels. We've got Indiana Jones 5 that comes out in, I think, June. Transformers 6, which normally I'd be like, I don't care. Like, I didn't care about Transformers 5, I didn't care about Transformers 3, I didn't care about Transformers 4. But this one's got Beast Wars. The best Transformers line. So, I mean, and it has me interested, I'll probably watch it. But yeah, the Indiana Jones, coming out. What was it? It's another sequel movie that's coming coming out this year that I forgot which one. But yeah, so good amount of stuff in the world of movies. Oh yeah, Mission Impossible, that's it. Another Mission Impossible. And Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Lots of stuff coming out this year in the world of movies. And probably by the time this video gets uploaded, I'm sure at least one or two of these movies are going to already be out. So, oh, and of course, Lego Marvel Super. I mean, the Lego Mario. The Mario movie. Wow. Okay, my brain had Lego Marvel Superheroes and Lego Mario on the exact same brain, and I was about to say Lego Mario Superheroes. The only reason Lego's on the mind is because of this, and the only reason Marvel's on the mind is because it's strange. There's a Lego sale, or not a Lego sale, but there's a sale going on 3DS and Wii U. You know, so I'm recording this in January. I think the tail end of January 30th. So like right before, like maybe a month or two before the eShop decides to go away, and it's a pretty good sale. They have a bunch of Capcom games. All Capcom games are $5 or less, which is great. Normally in these sales, the normal types of sales, they have Mega Man for like 10, Ace Attorney for 10, but no, literally everything is 5. Which, you know, if I had the money, I'd definitely buy. I think they had, yeah, I think like the 3DS trilogy, Ace Attorney trilogy, is actually only $5, which that's an insanely good price. Or not the trilogy, but I think it's like the 4th one in the series came out on 3DS. Anyway, and it looks great. It looks really, really, you know, it's a, anyway, it's a really great sale. Well, excuse me. In that sale, there is one Lego game. One Lego game for each console, and I have no idea why. There's Lego Jurassic World on 3DS for $4, and then Lego Marvel Superheroes for $10 on Wii U. And I'm like, why? And it's only one Lego game for each console. I'm like, why not just have a Lego sale then? I mean, why is it that only one game? Anyway, speaking of sales, I got a story to tell you. So, I've done a stupid... So you remember how the last part of LEGO Jurassic World, I mentioned how the Xbox One, I did a really stupid thing where I would just buy a ton of games just based off of the, you know, the synopsis of the game, or based off photos, or based off a video, just something like that. Games kind of like impulse buys. I just did that, because, you know, apparently I can't stop doing the exact same thing over and over again, so I just did that again with the PS4. The PS4 sale going on, and I bought a game called Indie... I want to call it Indie-pocalypse, but it's not called that because the game designers would have actually, you know, been realistic. No, it's Indie-calypse. It's like, great, that does not sound great at all. Indie-pocalypse sounds way better. I'm assuming Indie-pocalypse was already a game, and they didn't want to get the rights to that game, so they just called it Indie-calypse, which sounds terrible. But I was like, the synopsis, I'm like, okay, they have a sense of humor, you know, it looks alright, you know, I don't know. Well, I booted it up, and it's basically Newgrounds from 2002. It is a bunch of tired old video game references that are just really annoying and unfunny. You know, and there are references to newer games, but they're still unfunny. Like, it's basically references to newer games, but in the exact same format as a reference to, you know, an older game. You know, it's just like... And then on top of that, just like food humor. Just shock humor, just to be shocking. Yeah, that kind of humor. Just terrible humor just to go, oh wow, I can't believe they're saying that in a game that looks like a kid's game? Wow, what has the world come to? It's like, seriously? Haven't we done this before? It really does feel like Newgrounds from like the early 2000s. Which, I mean, earlier, you know, in an earlier part, I did say that I wish I was part of the Newgrounds community when I was younger. But that doesn't mean I want to be part of it now. that doesn't mean I want to have a shameless recreation of that time, which isn't funny at all. It's like, but like, of course, it was an impulse buy. It was like $3. I bought it because I was just like, okay. And yeah, it's really, really bad. There's like for example, there's a Binding of Isaac reference in it. And it's like a mini game, you know, it's basically just a mini game of the Binding of Isaac, but you play as the main character of this game, you know, whatever. We've seen things like that. We've seen like things like that a lot, you know, in indie games and, you know, reference stuff. But like, while it's funny for something like the Invader Zim comic to reference Binding of Isaac, because that's something kind of big and official, you know, for the Invader Zim comic to reference it, you're like, oh wow, it's so cool, you know. The Invader Zim comic, something that's like, you know, extreme, like, you know, it's different. Something that's like officially produced by Nickelodeon and has a bunch of money put into it, you know. But for an indie game to reference it, it's like, it's not cool. It's just like, yeah, okay, that's expected. You know, it's an indie game. Of course, they'd reference other indie games. But yeah, so the jokes are just really, really terrible. And it's like, it's just like, in the game, like you go talk, you know, you're playing as like a game developer, and you go talk to the principal, and the principal's like, huh, I killed 3 people on my way to school today, haha. Funny random. And I'm like, yep, it's random. It's random humor. Humor from, you know, 2002. And I'm like, really? Like, I thought we were past this. It's just like, yeah, it is so terrible. But like, you know, again, like I said, it was an impulse buy. You know, I had $4 left. I found a $3 game, and I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? You know, I could have bought, what other game do they have? A WRC3, which was like a rally racing game. I could have bought, there was another game on sale. Oh yeah, Strider for the PS4. Probably should have bought that. That game's actually really good. I don't know why this was, you know why this was the game that I picked out of all of them? It's because it was an indie game, and it looked unique, and I thought, hey, this might be good. You know, I mean, because impulse buys, you know, most of the time, they're stupid, and I hate doing them. But sometimes you have that rare occasion where it's actually good. You have that rare occasion where you're like, yeah, that was really great. That was a really great impulse buy. I'm glad I impulse buyed it. And most of the time it's with indie games. For example, there's this game, which I love so much. It's called Frederick Resurrection of Music. It's a game that's pretty often on sale, and I was like, I found it, bought it as an impulse buy, and it's probably one of my favorite games on Switch. It has a great soundtrack, it's got a great, you know, rhythm game feel, it's got, you know, great artwork. I really do enjoy it, you know. So that's what always happens with one of these things, is you're like, you know, with a game like, but you know, with a game like, you know, Need for Speed Payback, for example, that was also on sale for $3. With a game like that, like, okay, you know, it's just, you're either going to think it's okay or you're going to enjoy it. You know, or not, you know, you're either going to, you know what you're getting into, basically. You know exactly what you're getting into. You're getting into a Need for Speed game. So, it's not like you're going to hate it, but you're just going to think it's alright, or, you know, or maybe you might find it really good, you don't know. But with indie games, it's all a gamble. So that's why indie games normally are my impulse buys. But like I said, this time wasn't a good impulse buy, and I hate it. I hate buying that. I wasted $3.50, which, you know, I mean, that may not sound too bad, but I could have. But there was so much more. There was so many more games on sale that I could have bought. But, you know, what you gonna do? Dragon Ball Xenoverse was there, which, true, I don't play Dragon Ball, but, you know, it's there. It's a possibility. I could have bought that. Then again, I have Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, and I haven't played a second of it, so... Yeah, it's funny. I don't know if I mentioned that. My Switch impulse buying is pretty bad. I think the Switch is where... Like, the Switch and the Xbox tied are where most of my impulse buying is. Oh yeah, speaking of other good impulse buying situations, Syrup in the Ultimate Suite. Syrup in the Ultimate Suite was an impulse buy. I just liked the art and bought it. And then, you know what? Yeah, you know, it's a really, really great game. I spent a ton of time on it. I recently bought it back on Switch. And again, both on the Xbox One and both on the Switch. I love it. It's a really, really great game. So, you know, yeah, it's a really, really great game. Both of them. Both versions. So it's like, you know, and again, that's an indie game. So, you know, but yeah, my impulse buying on the Switch was really, 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 really bad. I bought tons of games. I bought a game I bought a game called Tiny Hands Adventure, which is one of the worst games I've ever played in my entire life. It is an indie game that's made in Unity, and it genuinely feels like it's like baby's first Unity game. It is so poorly designed. It's a 3D platformer that's kind of supposed to be like Crash Bandicoot, but it's Crash Bandicoot, but all the blocks are like the size of a quarter, and it's got really horrible controls, and the level design is just completely confusing and stupid. It seriously feels like, yeah, like baby's first Unity game. It's terrible, absolutely terrible. And then I bought Timberman Versus because it was $1. And that game wasn't terrible, but, you know, it still wasn't great. Yeah, it's, So, yeah, my impulse buying is, it's kind of bad. It's, you know... Not so bad now, I mean, in terms of now... Outside of, Indie-pocalypse? Oh, sorry. Indie-calypse. And outside of Indie-calypse, the only other impulse buy game I bought was, I think, last year and a half ago, probably a year and a half ago, and it was two games actually. It was a game that I cannot remember, and A Boy in His Garden. And the only reason I bought A Boy in His Garden is because it was cheap, and also it was made by the same people who made Syrup in the Ultimate Suite. So, you know, I was like, oh, well, it's Syrup in the Ultimate Suite, it must be good, and the game sucked. So, yeah. But what you gonna do? Anyway, that's another pretty short level, actually, and only, you know, 17 minutes, 18 minutes. So, another really short level. So, let me get back to the hub here. And in the next episode, we will finish up with the Lost World Jurassic Park. So, see you then.